IP friends, welcome to IP Series with Rita, your favorite podcast host. This episode features conversation from my past IP Series Twitter edition, and our conversation for today will be focusing on the gaming industry. So if you love to play game, I recently started playing games with my friend and he beat the hell out of me. But yeah, this conversation is just about the IP rights, intellectual property rights that exist in the gaming industry. So stay tuned, guys, as we take a trip down memory lane with me. Did you know that every 10th of March is Mario Day? I never knew until I stumbled on it and I decided to do my normal IP series thread on intellectual property protection in the gaming industry. So brief summary for my Super Mario fans. Super Mario was created by Nintendo Co. Limited, which is a Japanese multinational consumer electronic and video game company headquarters in Kyoto. And it is an international company that has branches in America, in Europe, and they are respectively headquartered in Redmond, Washington, Frankfurt in Germany, and happened to have appeared as a carpenter called Jumpman in the arcade Donkey King, and later as an iconic plumber. For those in the gaming industry, building a franchise is one of the ways that they can actually exploit and commercialize their creation. Because of how big the Mario brand has grown, they have sold more than 600 million copies, making it the best-selling video game franchise and the 9th selling video highest grossing media franchise, with an estimated revenue above $36 billion. Oh my gosh, guys, that's a lot. So how can Nintendo exploit or has exploited their intellectual property rights as in regards to Mario, and what intellectual property can game developers consider? According to a publication by the World Intellectual Property Organization, intellectual property is considered to be the lifeblood of every industry that intellectual property basically interfaces with. And the intellectual property rights are associated with both the tools that are used to develop games and the content that are included in the games. For instance, you have intellectual property rights that could be multi-layered in the form of a copyright, trademark, patent, data protection, gambling laws, image rights, trade secret, design right, as the case may be. Now, copyright protects literary and artistic works in a fixed or tangible form. The underlying codes of the gaming of the games itself can be protected as literary works. The sound and artworks are protected as audio-visual works. Certain elements or artwork in the video games can fall under the doctrine of since they are fair. So a scenes affair, which is spelled SCENSAFARE, refers to a particular artwork or elements of a video game that are necessary to execute a particular idea and are not copyrightable. Now, this could include things like the scoring system, the lives, the coins, and the sky or background. It also applies to certain genre of games. Now, when I did this tweet, I had asked people if video games titles are copyrightable, and 93.3% had said yes. 6.7% said no. And now the answer is titles, short phrases, names do not enjoy copyright protection because they're just, you can't see, they're not in any fixed medium. So I during my master's, I had written, my dissertation topic basically was on protection of word names, phrases, and title as copyright or trademark. I did a comparison using the United States jurisdiction, the United Kingdom, and also Nigeria. And your best bet for protecting names, titles, phrases are trademark and not copyright. Copyright Works that are eligible for copyright protection includes literary and artistic works, sound recording, audiovisual, cinematography, etc. Um, Copyrights that could exist in a video game includes the source code, um, characters, choreographies, buildings, map, conceptual art, box design, soundtrack and sound effects, scripts, dialogues, and the storyline. Now, in Nigeria, copyrighted work enjoy protection for the lifetime of the author. So, for as long as you are alive, so if you live a very long life for about 80, 90 years, for the duration you are alive, plus 70 years afterwards, your heirs and your successors can keep enjoying the copyright in that work until it goes into public domain. Going into public domain means anyone that can use it. There's no copyright on it. It's open to the public to use as they want to recreate new works, etc., etc. Trademark protects words, symbols, signs, graphics, short phrases that are used to identify a company's product. For instance, Nintendo of America, as at 2020, filed a trademark application in South America through the Argentina Trademark Office for computer game cartridges, game memory cards, computer game software, video games, memory card, cover for mobile phones, which is like the in thing right now. Everyone has a mobile phone cover, or a pouch as you may call it. Entertainment software to play video games, and everything that could come out of Mario and Luigi's brand, and a Mario tennis is in China. All intellectual property are territorial in nature, so you can imagine how far they had to think in terms of protecting their brand, Nintendo, so no one takes advantage, because you always have people who are ready to actually steal your intellectual property, who want to pass off your reputation and goodwill, take advantage of that and make profit from what you have created or invented. As a trademark owner, you also get to enjoy exclusive rights that comes with registering your trademark in that particular territory. For instance, now you have the Argentina trademark, you have the South American trademark, etc., etc. Next up is design rights, which basically protects the features of the product, such as the game hardware and the user interface. Now, in design, appearance matters a lot. Like, it could help you build brand loyalty in order to enjoy protection. The work must actually be new and novel, it must be original and has its own individual character. It must not be contrary to public policy or morality as well. The term of protection for design right in Nigeria is 25 years. So if you're a lover of games, you like to play games, let's start having more made in Nigeria games and game developers, create a story around the myths and legends and stories. Tell us something that makes people want to engage your work. Now, for you to enjoy that protection, it must be registered in a particular class, and it's not limited to the goods in the class of goods. The owners have the exclusive right to prevent unauthorized copying or imitation by third parties. They have the right to exclude others from making or putting it in the market, exporting it, importing, using, selling, stocking for such purposes by which by others in which the design is incorporated. These rights do not extend to technical functionality, but only the external features of the product, such as lines, contours, colors, shape, texture, and all materials of the product as its ornamentation. The next intellectual property is patent right. Now, this IP protects inventions, their technical characteristics, and also the functionality that the inventor will benefit from enjoying the exclusive right that comes with commercially exploring a product or process for up to 20 years. For instance, Nintendo owns EP 1078664. You guys, please Google it. Just Google it, guys. Thank you. The owner of this patent, now Nintendo in this case, protects its computer program that analyzes the time of the device, and also through a variable probabilities spawns a creature at a given time, allowing for different creatures to be spawned throughout the day in the same area within the game. So if you've played Super Mario, I'm sure you understand all of these things I've said. Then next up you have trade secret, which is a piece of information that keeps your game a secret and gives your game an edge and economic benefits over other competitors out there. So if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you're a FIFA fan, whatever game, they always have their own edge. What makes their game so interesting that consumers always come back to buy and want to play these games. Basic for protecting your trade secrets includes maintaining and promoting the standard of communication, ethics, and fair dealing, providing an incentive for business to innovate by safeguarding the substantial time and capital investment to develop competitively. The advantage includes that you don't have to necessarily register your trade secrets. Disclosure is not needed. What that means is that you don't need to tell anybody your secret. There's no specific term of protection. For instance, the Coca-Cola recipe is still unknown till date. It's like the most told IP stories of all time. That story is told to every intellectual property enthusiast or student of how Coca-Cola has managed to keep the recipe of Coca-Cola a secret for years. Then you have image right, which is like a very dicey conversation when it comes to the gaming industry, especially when you're trying to recreate your characters. Who do they look like? Who are you modeling them after? Image rights concerns the various rights of an individual in his own persona, which could be his name, his photo, his likeness, his signature, personal brand, slogans, logos, etc. Other rights that an individual can possess in his or his own persona includes appearance, silhouette, feature, face expression, whether verbal or facial, mannerism, and the likes of it. Now, the gaming industry is set to be worth 180.1 billion as at last year. Now, what is the Nigerian gaming industry doing to be part of these statistics? So while doing my research about gaming industry in Nigeria, I had to, come up with a list of some games created by Nigerians. You have Gamba, Nigeron, Abokiron, Gidiron, Niger World, Stickman Hooks, and Swing 3D, Anointed, Chronicles of Laugh 2. Now, I did a poll and only 1 to 3% said they had, they knew these games I listed out, while nobody said they knew. So it's like 60%, which was amounted to the 1 to 3 persons that knew some of the games. So sometime in 2019 we had Basi Okpara Jr., who is a video game developer. He went viral that year and is said to own several video games. Now that kind of gives everyone hope. They're like, okay, so that's future. But we want to see more video developers, more made in Nigerian games existing and competing with international. We want to see people actually playing Nigerian games online, having live sessions, having conversations about our games. So I'm going to be wrapping up now, talking of how best you can protect your intellectual property in the gaming industry. How best can the Nigerian gaming industry explore and protect their intellectual property? 1, identify the intellectual property that can be associated with your video games, whether it's trademark for the name, design right for the features, etc. Explore a multi-layered intellectual property protection. I've listed at least 5 intellectual property rights you could consider. Register your intellectual property in Nigeria because intellectual property is territorial. So it's only the countries or jurisdiction or territory that register your intellectual property that you get to enjoy protection. Then develop, build, and expand your company's brand, goodwill, reputation. Explore commercialization of your work by working towards having a Nigerian brand franchise like Mario. Documentation is very important. Educate your employees on what intellectual property is. This is where your company's IP policy will come into place. So you don't have employees leaving your company and going to set up similar game in the doing their own things. Includes non-disclosure clauses in your contracts or non-compete clauses in your contract. Be proactive and have a good IP strategy. Up your game and have a good intellectual property. And with that, we've come to the end of today's conversation. I believe you guys have learned something. So if you learned something, please come back again and listen to my podcast. For my returning listeners, thank you guys for listening. For the first time listeners, I hope you took something away with you. Please share with your contacts and friends and well-wishers. Follow hashtag IPSeries. Just put hashtag IPSeries and then you see all the discussions I've had about intellectual property and how they interface with different industry. Follow us on Instagram, IPSeries_with_reader. Reader is spelled REEDAH. On Twitter, we are IPSeries1. Our email is ipseriesinfo@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook, hashtag IPSeries. And I'm the official podcast host. My Twitter handle is @Esmeraldo99. You can check me out on Instagram as well, Esmeraldo5613. And with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. I hope to see you guys come back next time. And cheers, guys. Bye.